All right, all right, all right. We back, we back, we back, we back, we back. Sorry about the interruption, man. We
You know
back.
what happens? Sometimes in the studio, things happen. But welcome back to Be More for Real. I'm Uncle
I'm
Wayne.
G Danny, man. We're gonna continue on with this conversation about
Trump, did you do that to us, sir?
hey, look, we don't even know why this stuff happens, man. It's crazy, but it things does happen, and we're gonna keep on going into it. We still with the DEI program, and we're glad that Brother Bobby B asked what was the DEI program, and we already went through
Yeah,
some
you're going to
things.
have to fill DEI back in, sir, just for those who may be just catching up with us.
All right,
Give a
so
quick
I'm
briefing
a
on
I'm gonna run
DEI real
down with
quick.
it fast. I'm
Thank you,
gonna
thank
run
you,
down
thank
with it
you, thank you,
fast.
thank you, thank you, sir.
Um, the DEI is the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program. It is a highly debated topic. While some research suggests that the DEI initiatives can improve workplace culture, representation, and employee satisfaction, others argue that they often fall short of their goals, face resistance, or lead to unintended consequences. Arguments for DEI effectiveness include increased diversity, better performance, improved employee satisfaction, legal and ethical benefits. DEI programs help businesses stay compliant with anti discrimination laws and improve corporate reputation. Now, these are the arguments that are against the DEI because we got to be more for real. So, number one, lack of measurable impact. Some studies indicate that the mandatory DEI training doesn't significantly change biases or behavior over time. Number two, resistance and backlash. Employees and leaders may see DEI initiatives as forced, leading to resentment and or superficial compliance. Tokenism. Some organizations hire for diversity numbers rather than genuine inclusion, which leads to dissatisfaction among employees. Number four, one size fits all approach. Many DEI programs fail because they don't address the unique needs of different organizations and industries. So, this is where DEI has worked its best. Tech and finance. Companies like Google and JP Morgan have seen improvements in leadership and in diversity, healthcare, and education. DEI efforts have helped address disparities in patient care and student outcomes. But this is where DEI has struggled. Law enforcement and military. Resistance to change and ingrained cultures make the implementation difficult. Small businesses lack the resources to fully implement a DEI program or initiative. So those are the pros and cons of the both DEI programs. So we're gonna go ahead and clap that up by the way.
Because we spend a lot of time with it. Just like I said, what really is it? Do they really help with the disability? Or is it really equal diversity? Or is it not? That's what I say. We can get into it. We can blame Trump, but I told you because they was going to spend a lot of money and a lot of time into the LBGAQ, and he
Right.
stopped that program.
Right. And so
He
that
really
was
did.
that was a lot of the issue. And I'm glad you brought that up because the LGBTQ it does have something to do with the DEI programs and the
And
beneficiaries
they
and women as well.
and they pushed
So
it this year.
this was
Listen, they really was pushing it.
this was the fact that diversity in itself is a general concept. You're talking about being diverse. It's not specific. So normally you would think that okay, if they would put us under the impression, excuse me, that the DEI program, the diversity, equity, inclusion program, would include the black people, especially, but minorities above all. The minorities would be included in the diversity of these programs, uh, making them equitable shareholders in the socio economical realm, right? But that's not the case. See, when you're talking about diversity and all stuff, and this is something that I experience in construction as well. You would think that because you have a MBE or minority business enterprise, that's what MBE stands for. You think just because you have a minority business enterprise or MBE that they're going to hire you because you're a minority. And according to, well, the DEI standards and Department of Justice and all of them, you have to include a minority on all of these major contracts, whatever the contracts may be, government contracts. You have to have at least one MBE on site working. And so now a lot of the times those MBEs are the Hispanics, and we're going to talk about that too because Trump has the immigration laws, and it's fascinating. But and a lot of them are construction workers too, so this is going to flow right into it. But you have you have these people that are minorities as well, and another one is are women. So when you say you want to have diversity, equity, inclusion, they're going to include Hispanics, they're going to include women, and they're going to include the LGBTQIA, the transgenders, and all of them before they start saying, yo, we're going to do this specifically for black people or we're going to do this specifically for Asian people. They're not going to do that. They're going to have the diversity, equity, inclusion, which is so
Anything
freaking
other than
general,
white.
which is so freaking general. It's not
Anything
specific at all.
other than white.
Anything other than white.
Yep.
Anything other than
Right. That's how it is.
That's what it
Exactly how
is.
they
That's what
feel
it
as
is.
though
Hey, brother Bobby B, he
they
said,
make stuff
"Hello,
up.
hello. I see you back, brother Bobby B."
And we're back.
he said, I'm still here. We appreciate you, man. Yeah, man.
We're
We
back.
back. We sorry about the interruption, but sorry about the delay. The diversity, equity, inclusion program. It goes along with the immigration thing, like I was saying, because of the construction and all of those different things, which goes along with the mass deportation. Like Trump has did several things over the course of this campaign, which is what this topic of the night is about, by the way.
Let me
Um,
Trump is getting his everlasting life. I said to this as a joke, but he has a powerful fairy godmother, or he has a powerful one. Do you know, as a joke, you understand when you have certain people, you have powerful. I mean, to make sure that you come through. He- I mean, look at him. I mean, I've never seen someone. Can you name a person that you ever can met this powerful? There is none. None. And let me tell you how he did it. He has the House, the Congress, and I said there's one that's more powerful than the president, which is the Supreme Justice. And I even remember that he put judges in there. So I'm saying, look at him. So look at it, and look at all the people just kissing his ass. Look. So when they said sell, you know what I'm saying? Sell your soul. Do you understand?
right.
Is this a play of selling your soul? Because he has definitely gained the world.
Well, I'm gonna say this. This program has made a deep program people to what they've been programmed to, of course, and the media is going to propaganda us into believing all this bullcrap. For instance, one of the things was about Trump was that he was ending Medicaid and food stamps and all that stuff because he stopped government funding for natural disasters and things like that, which is true. He put a government halt and a government freeze on that, which could impact education. It could impact what do you call it? Before the kids go to school, pre-K, they go to Head Start. It could affect the Head Starts and the early childhood development programs. It could affect
Big
um,
government funded programs,
it could
of
affect
course.
a lot of stuff. Also, he stopped with the foreign aid, so Ukraine is no longer getting money and resources to fund their war from America. So America withdrew from that. But um, we have to realize that the rumors that they were saying that he's gonna stop Medicaid and food stamps. It's not true. Medicaid and food stamps is still going to be out and about. And what I would challenge the people is to
But if he did, who? Let me say, if he did, this is a test.
right,
He did some things as a test. Because guess what? Who can stop him? He tested it because Congress is really the one who controls the money.
Right.
So he tested them. And the
And
Congress
that's
is
who stopped him.
controlled is the Republican. But he tested them because he only tested it to a control. So he went around and fired the the IG, the Attorney General, who the
Right.
ones who
Right.
watch the money,
The AG. That's what I was saying. Right. The Attorney General.
Attorney General.
Right.
He fired them. Do you get what I'm saying? The other one who watched the money, same thing. But watch this.
Hmm.
In 2 years, you see the ones in the Congress that's giving him a hard way to go. He's going to get rid of them. I already told you. See how Trump runs his thing. But but watch this. Did you see another thing? But I'm only trying to show you how the world works. But watch how China is playing with Trump. I'm going to show you how it works. Look at IG. Trump threw all that money in IG because all those rich people was up there kissing his ass. You know why? Because they wanted the money. He gave the money through IG. Watch how Trump works. Look at all the money he put through IG. That's the biggest thing. That's why they were all up there. Why you think they were all up there? Pay attention. Us as blacks, we need to pay attention. Follow the money. Why you think they were all up there? And then watch where he put all the money into. But watch what China did. China trying to show us the same way he put the money. They showed us the same place he put all that money. They show us the same thing with $6 million. That's why they embarrassed us. That's why the trade fell $1 trillion. See, we have to pay attention. They showed us that Trump was never a good
Well,
businessman
some stuff work and others don't because remember,
the
well, I
whole
don't know if you
way.
know or not. Um, the immigrants that they're deporting and they already plan on deporting in this mass deportation, the largest mass deportation, by the way, in U.S. history. Um, what they had went to Venezuela and Colombia, and I believe it was Colombia. Basically, was like, look, we're not gonna allow them back into our country or whatever. We're not even gonna allow y'all planes to land in Colombia with these immigrants, and we don't care if they came from Colombia and y'all deporting them. They can't come back here. Matter of fact, the planes can't even land here. So Trump said, "Okay, you want to know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put tariffs on you. Everything that comes out of Colombia is gonna have a tariff on it." And the span of like 24 hours, less than 48 hours, they start accepting them deportees back, and basically Trump in the United States was like, look, well, if y'all don't want to take them anyway, we still got somewhere for them to go. We're gonna take them somewhere, but they can't be here in America. So that was the thing about the deportation and immigration thing.
See what
And
I
like
mean?
some things,
That's not impressive. See what I mean by not impressive as a president. Everybody say, "Oh, he's so impressive, president." That's not impressive. Trying to have tariffs on everything that comes back and forth. He's not going to do anything but set
I gotta
a
disagree
war
with
that
that.
he's not going to fight.
I have to disagree with that because remember
How?
we was talking a little bit backstage
We
about
have to barter.
we was talking a little bit backstage about income tax. See, what a lot of people don't know is that income tax wasn't introduced into the United States until 1913. Look, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Just look it up. Federal income tax was not a part of the United States until 1913. So I think it was like from 1860 to 1913, or maybe even prior to then. But that was the most successful, that was the most economical years of America. That was America's richest year. We were backed by gold and all that stuff, and we did not have a federal income tax. What happened was that the tariffs that was placed on other countries for exporting and importing their goods would be used for the economy to boost its citizens up. And I ain't go. This is what Trump said, and it made sense. And I agree with this. I'm not a Trump supporter. It's just I agree with certain ideals, and I'm being level headed about what I'm thinking. So anyway, um, so prior to 1913, there was no income tax. The income tax was the tariffs excuse me, the tariffs that they placed on other countries, and the tariffs that they placed on other countries will fuel the economy of America. But then in 1913 they stopped that, and then they brought in the Social Security Act and all that stuff not too long after that, and they started having a federal income tax on the citizens of America, which is going out to tariffs that's placed on America. America has no tariff has is tariffed on every export it brings to other countries, and other countries is benefiting off of the imports that they're getting from America, but America don't want to put tariffs on other nations. They just want to tax the people. That's my problem with the Democrat regime, because their solution is always to tax and penalize the working class people. But in fact, America was its greatest, it was at its economical best when there was no federal income tax.
Okay, now that makes sense to a degree, but stop listening to him sell that. Trump wants to have another tax cut for the rich. In order for him to do it again, remember I told you he can't get another cut for the rich again this time because in order for him to do it this time, he has to cut something. You can't get that money again this time, sir. So it has to be obvious. So in order for him to do it, he's got to do some serious cutting. And he's going to have to cut something real obvious. And it's all those entitlement programs that everyone have. And most of the people have it. It is these programs, food stamps, Medicaid, and these programs. And he sees them, and those Republicans been talking a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and he want these programs cut.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And tariffs, absolutely, taxing things that's coming in to United States. I agree with that, but you have to understand that. But those other countries don't want the stuff that we make here. It's a true fact. So we have to make better things here.
Absolutely.
And so it's a barter system. We can't bully our way because what we're going to do is start a war. I'm trying to tell you, Trump is not going to fight a war. His family not going to fight a war. Our young people are going to fight the war. Get it to what I'm saying? So if you want to be a president, be a good president. Let's strategize here. Let's be a good president. He has an old way of thinking, and he's never been a good businessman. He's been a shrewd businessman.
I don't believe that.
He
Trump
has.
Trump
Well,
always been a
he's
businessman.
never been a
Um,
successful. I just giving you an example.
he
I
is
just
a
watch
successful
this. I
businessman as
just
well.
giving you an example again. What the Chinese people just showed you. I just gave you. They just showed you a $6 million chip that they showed you on this man just spent the United States money. He's just spent all that money on that same chip. They just showed you $6 million or all that money he's just spent on his family and all those people went up there. They just showed us that. They don't like him anyway. I'm only trying to show you what it is. If we don't, as blacks, stand up and lead, our problem is we don't think we're successful enough to be there.
No, I didn't think. I'm not saying that, but I will say this: I disagree with Trump not being a successful businessman. I mean, he's
But
been a business mongrel
he
for the
was
better part
born
of
in money. He
better
was
part of like
he's
40 years
but
now.
this is where we get
So
confused at
you know,
because he was born in money. We think
he
he's
wasn't
bad.
born in
He
money. Well,
was.
according to what I read
He
about him,
was born.
his parents were poor German
Mm.
folk that came over
Think
here.
about it. If you were given the chance, if you were given millions, you would have the chance to be able to the chance to show what you were able to do. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
We
that makes sense.
we as blacks gotta be. I'm telling you what makes me so. It is chance for us and young blackness to show what we're able to do. And imagine the United States of America was ran differently. Look at it's ran raggedy, yo. That's
Right,
why it's the situation it is now.
right.
And we don't think we're successful enough and powerful enough to run the United States. Look at it's ran now. If you don't believe me, look at the Congress.
Hmm.
Look at those people who is running the United States now. And look every time that someone goes up there and they interview them.
Right.
Look right there. Look at them. They don't deserve to be up there. Look at
Right.
them.
Also, my whole ordeal too on this, even if the diversity, equity, inclusion program somehow did benefit our people, right? Even if it did, and he took it away from us, I still think it's a good thing for us. We have to look at it from a bigger lens and a broader perspective. Excuse me. If these companies, excuse me, if they won't hire us and things like that, it forces us as a people to create our own jobs,
Mm-hmm.
to create our own Greenwich
Mm-hmm.
districts and our own cities nationwide. And I'm with that. If that's what it takes, I am totally with that. So I can look at it from both sides and say, look, even if it did, if it had the slightest or the major impact on our community, well, what that should force us to do is to continue to buy black. And like I said, this program is made a deprogramming. So what we've been programmed to, it means that you should go and work with your brother and work with your
Right.
neighbor before you go ahead and
That's it.
buy from the government. Before you buy from Louis, Gucci, and Prada, you should buy from your brother.
That's it.
You understand what I'm saying?
And
So,
learn to work and live and grow together. That's where
mm-hmm,
where our
mm-hmm,
problem goes, because we don't want to deal with each other. We'll go deal with someone else, with another race and someone else, and instead of dealing with each other. That's
right.
where our problem come in. That's where our separation at. That's where the situation at. And we were outside talking of that. They're all other race. They will deal with each other and get the job done. But we were outside said, because we don't like you, we won't deal with you. You see what I
And
mean?
that's another thing. That's what I was talking about.
That's why we can't get the job
That's
done.
another thing. And I'm glad you brought that up. That's what I was talking about. It's like I would say, especially as black people, we gotta get that out of our head. Like, in order to work with another person or something, we have to like
You
them.
have to like each other.
In order to be around somebody in the same space as somebody, you have to like them. You gotta agree with them. No, that's totally not the case, and that is severely crippling our community. It's one of our crutches or Achilles' heels. It has to be one of the reasons why we're so far behind socioeconomically because of our inability to be able to deal with people. And let me tell you the biggest thing too, like with this presidential election, I don't know how many people didn't block me, especially women, the females didn't block me because I was like Kamala Harris should never ran and all that other stuff. They just hate
And she
opposition.
shouldn't have.
They hate disagreement, and I want to tell you just like this: the people that act like that,
Fact, yo.
you
Y'all
deserve to
know
be
it's true.
lied to. Don't be mad when somebody tell you a whole bunch of lies just to tickle
Right.
your ego and scratch your ears. Because when somebody
Whisper
disagree with
sweet
you,
nothings in
you
your
tend
ear.
to act reckless. You tend to act belligerent, ruckus, and all these other things because you hear something that don't jive, that don't go along with your ego. It don't go along with what you believe in. That is why our people are suffering. And that a lot of that has to do with the church. And I ain't gonna get in too much into that either. But
But that's the
it's
truth.
still
It is
all
the
in
truth
all.
too. Now we have grown up. We have got to face the truth that we were taught wrong in a lot of things. But men have got to take control back of our families. That's where our problem come in. And our families, the men have to control the families the way we are.
Right.
We don't have to control the family the way you can control your family. We control the family the way we want, the way our family, the way God control ours. See, that's the difference. That's where we're messed up at. Everybody want to do what somebody else does instead of what God asks us to do as a family. That's why the family is so confused. That's why I say we are.
Right.
But we got to get it back and teach each other. But I'm telling you, the next 4 years is going to be quite interesting because Trump is president. And like I said, this is exactly what the election was held. Trump is now president, and I enjoy I watch it and I learn from it. So I
Right.
said, you gotta understand what an election is. You gotta understand who the president is, and you've got to learn from it. And we do. We gotta face the facts. And right now, we still won't stick together. You see that? You go to the corner stores. It's everybody else in the corner stores but us. We buy everything in the corner stores. They go to the corner stores and pick the stuff for us, but we don't own the corner stores. Isn't that something?
For a fact.
I
For a
said,
fact.
will this ever change?
for a fact. And so another thing, and speaking of change, no pun intended. One of the other things that Trump changed was, and it seems like the transgender laws in
Another one.
America. And so one of the big things
All tied
is,
around.
did President Trump change the transgender laws as far as military
We'll go right
personnel?
back to the same thing again. Them same letters.
So if we could, if we can get our production to go to the first slide, and let's go ahead and pull up that video and let's go ahead and discuss it and we'll see for ourselves.
Take a live look right now over Washington, D.C. Immigration isn't the only issue that's undergoing some major changes through Trump's executive orders. And the latest change that just came into our newsroom is aimed at the military.
The Associated Press reports the president signed an executive order for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to revise military policy on transgender troops. Hegseth previewed that executive order yesterday before it was signed. The proposed revision would ban anyone who's transgender from serving in the military. The president is also expected to sign executive orders that would ban several diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the military, and orders that would reinstate service members who were discharged for refusing to get the COVID vaccine.
All right. So we see we see certain things automatically from here, and one of the glaring things I think that Trump was trying to point out and indicate was that he was trying to make it federally recognized with two genders,
Right, just he made it
with two
clear.
genders.
Man, Trump is just there. He's from the old school. He's just not feeling. He's just that type. That LGBT. I told you, he attacking that 100% all the way around. Remember I told you that he attacked it. If any money going into it, in that he attacked it. That's another way he attacked it. But I had to agree with him in the armed services because if you trying to get a sex change while you're in the armed service, that doesn't make sense. And then they're saying you have to get a sex, I mean, a sick leave, but that doesn't make sense either while you're in there. That doesn't you now that now to me
Right.
that makes sense. Some of the stuff that Trump says is not all wrong. You can't be making serving in the service while you having a sex change. That don't make sense.
I mean, why wouldn't it? Is there
But why
different
are you
laws or
going to go?
protocols?
But why are you going to go into the service and you're having a sex change from one gender to another while you're in serving in the service? You know what it entails. I mean, it's a lot of jobs you don't take for certain reasons. It wouldn't make sense. So that's not one of them. So you wouldn't go sign up for armed services knowing you're getting a sex change. That it's like it's like that's just not the type of a job. So I can agree with him on that one.
See, a lot of times this is what I would do as well. I would make sure that we get the information from a government website or a government source. See, a lot of times we getting this information from the internet, and it's creating us to go into a frenzy, and it's
Some information not correct.
it's planned propaganda. We have to properly fact check all this information that we get, and and so for one of them, let's get into it. So, could we go ahead and pull up that second slide, please? So this is straight out of President Trump's mouth, and this is a real tweet from his own Twitter page. It says, "Today it was my great honor to sign an executive order banning the chemical castration and medical mutilation of innocent children in the United States of America. Our nation will no longer fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support so-called gender-affirming care, which has already ruined far too many precious lives. My order directs agencies to use every available means." Oh, excuse me. Hold on. let me see. Let me make sure we got that. It says, my order directs agencies to use every available means to cut off federal financial participations in institutions which seek to provide these barbaric medical procedures that should have never been allowed to take place. And this comes from President Trump himself.
Is this for what? For children?
Yeah, he's saying for children, and he's also saying for people that want to. I think it's also under 19. You got to read the government website, but it's mostly aimed at children making life-altering decisions. I
At
think
what age?
if you're under the age of 19, I believe
Oh,
that
well.
Medicaid or any of that stuff would not support um, your transition, and even if you're an adult, those health and insurance companies that support the medical mutilation, as Trump called it, the medical mutilation. Those companies that do that, they will be defunded by the federal government, so they will have to support their own practices
He's going.
out of their own
I
pockets.
told you he's getting worse. He's he's going for the jugular vein.
I, for one, look, be more for real. I don't agree with the transgender movement, I'm totally against it, and I could I could say that confidently.
What part are you against?
I'm
When you
just a
say
part of. I'm not a fan of you not accepting your own reality and wanting somebody else to accept your reality. Like I know you're a man. You were born a male. You want me to see you as a female and call you as a female because you don't want to accept who you are. If you don't want to accept who you are as a person, what the hell make you think I'm gonna accept you for who you think you is? That don't make sense to me. So I mean, I know the transgender community, and I know it could create an uproar, but that's just my train of thinking. It's not to be malice, but we can sit there and have a conversation and be more for real. It's just that's just against my MO. It makes no sense. It's delusional at best to me.
well, I mean, as a grown person, well, as a grown person, they're entitled to do and be. To me, as a grown person, they're entitled. To me, you entitled to be and say and do whatever you please. But as a child, as under the age of 10, that's where I draw the line. It would be a cold day in hell before I participate in any change in any sexual anything for a child under the age of 10. I just
No.
don't think.
For me, it's worse than that
And
because
then
a child at 10 is not even fully developed
right, and I don't
itself
think
anyway.
right,
So
and that's
no,
where I
I'm
think
against it.
anybody should have no say so or
I'm against it.
anything, but they have those things and sites for children
I'm
in
against
that
it. And I
and hormones and
I
all
just want
that.
out people to. I mean,
I don't
if you
think.
like the other side and all that stuff,
I
fine,
just think.
cool. But I think it devalues women for a man to try to portray like he's a woman, and you're not.
But
That
it's
takes away totally of the value, and that's why that whole thing, which Trump is banning too, a part of this ban, it will ban transgender men from competing in women's sports and vice versa, because it's dangerous. It is. It's flat out dangerous. The whole ideology, and I know people hate they hate to hear it or whatever, and some people have the lifestyles. Some people I actually know and all that stuff. Like I said, just because I disagree with you, it don't mean that I'm gonna see you
sports
starving.
is a
And it
now.
don't mean just because I disagree with your lifestyle,
Now,
that don't mean I'm gonna see you starving and not offer you something to eat. It don't mean that I'm gonna see you bleeding on the ground and not render you some aid. That's not what that means. It just means I simply do not agree with the lifestyle. Just like people don't agree with my quote unquote religious views. That's fine. We have freedom of speech, right, and expression. But the how come when the animosity or the disdain or the disagreement is from the other side, it creates a much greater reaction. For instance, when a woman does a lot of stuff with men, like they be putting their hands and abusing, we be laughing. But let something happen to a woman that way, people ain't gonna be laughing. You're gonna get hurt playing around like that, which you should too. Which you should too. But that it creates a psychological chemical imbalance in our brain on what to expect. Because if I'm calling you a woman and then you go in the bathroom with my daughter in the girls' bathroom, yeah, I ain't gonna be too. And I know you're a man, especially like, bro, you 6'9", bro, you 6'9", and you parading around here like, no, that's disrespectful to women, and I don't agree
But
with that.
but see, this is where the issue come in at because you're looking at an image 6'9". Because when you switch it around the other way, where the women want to be men, do you
Same way,
see?
same way,
But see,
same
you
way.
don't see no image because you see a woman turn into a man. You don't see a a threat, so you don't see it as a threat.
I'm just a logical
Just like
person,
the same thing when a older woman touch a boy.
right?
You see what I mean?
It's different
Right,
than
when
an
people
older
don't
man touching a younger
right.
woman. I
You
get you what you're
see,
saying. It
you
is. It
see.
is. It's a different stigma. It really is. Erica Badu had her 20-something-year-old boyfriend at
Yeah,
50,
you
but if
don't see
another
it as
50-year
a
old man
threat
had
when
a
you see it,
20 something
but
year
it's
old,
the
they be like, oh, he want to manipulate. No, that's not the same. I mean, they still grown. It's still two
right. You
consenting
got
adults.
you,
It's just
but
different. It's a different view, and that's the stigma
we got.
society
But
placed on us.
that's why but you're not allowed to do that because that is the same. It is not a fair way of looking at it because inside of a person is an inside of a person.
Right. But I mean, like that's the stigma that society places on it. And like I said, I'm a logistics person. I'm a logistics man. To be logical, right? If there was something wrong with you, even physically, health wise, if your health was in the balance, you're not gonna, as a man, as a male, you're not gonna go in there and say, oh, I missed my period or I'm having cramps, and they're gonna give you some period or cramp medication. Because I don't give a care how much plastic surgery you put on. It's still not gonna cover up the X and Y chromosome that you were born with. So that's my thing. And you can't go to the doctors and all that stuff and say, oh, I got ovarian cancer and all that stuff, and they trying to treat you for ovarian cancer as a male, or as a woman, they trying to treat you for prostate cancer as a woman. That don't make sense. It's not medically conducted. So even when they come down to the medical field, there has to be clear sex on that. And I don't want to spend too much time on that because I don't want people to feel offended. But just know this is my
Don't you
that's
think
my
it's a
stance on that.
little
It's
bit too late for that?
it's be more for real. If why can't we have
And
this
that we are.
conversation?
Hey, listen, that's what we are. We are be more for real, and we have these
Yeah,
conversations
why can't we have the
because
conversation?
listen, and we don't always know. That's why I say we like to invite you on so you can explain to us because Lee, that's what we do. We like to learn. Do you understand? So please, that's
Right.
why I say we like to agree to disagree. So come on up here and spend some time with us.
Yeah, be
You
more for
know.
real.
So back to Trump. And Trump the one is really neat for him because he's taking this and destroying everything he possibly can because he feels as though that one way he's going to do this instead of saying what he feels, he's doing it with the pen. That's how Trump doing it. He don't say anything. He's doing it with the pen.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely. And remember Kamala.
Kamala Harris, we were talking about that as well. He was talking about the power of the
Pen with a swipe of a pen. And this is why it's critical and crucial that we need to change these policies and procedures. One thing before it get too late, I want to talk about, and this is why I'm saying the rumors and stuff like that. Let's make sure that we get our information from credible sources. So, a big one: President Trump child support rumors. Um, is it true or is it not? Have you heard about the child support rumors? Yes or no, Uncle Wayne?
No, fill me in.
So, according to social media
Uh-oh.
and the TikTok crazy people, right? Trump was supposed to ban the recipients of child support benefits from filing taxes for their children and claiming them on their taxes, which means that if you receive child support, you cannot claim that child on your taxes. So
Uh-oh.
that was that was
Uh-oh.
that was a bombshell that was dropped by TikTok, and people wanted to know whether or not it was true or not. And it turns out, in fact, it is not true.
Oh,
It is not true at all.
okay, y'all can still get them vehicles.
And this is why it's important for us
Still
to
get
get
them
out
used cars
information.
and pay them last bit of pays off at the end of the year.
And that's why I was saying this is why it's important for us to get our information from credible, viable sources because
And
we will get
we
sucked into
happen
this
to be
trap and
one of
stuff
those
like that.
viable sources.
And trust and believe, Be More for Real is one of
Happens
the
to be
we
one
are
of
rated
them.
R for reality. So we gonna go ahead and we rated R for reality. I mean, it almost don't get no realer than this, other than with the cameras not on and the mic's not present. I mean, other than that, it's as real as it come, man. But the child support law, man, yeah, it's not true at all. It's just not true. So what you got to say about that? What if it was to happen? Man, that was you should see the comments online, man,
I
about
could
the
only
people.
imagine.
Man, the people
Ain't
you
cause I
got
ain't
a
get as
lot of
much
women be
today. I
like,
can
that's
only imagine. You
stupid
was like,
and all stuff.
no,
Yeah.
Trump, no.
What do y'all think about it? Leave it. Tell me what y'all think about it in the
Yes,
comments.
you know what I mean? Because I'm only imagine one more smack in the face for us, and y'all know you need that. You know you need it. But guess what? Trump didn't do it to you. He didn't do that. You know what I mean?
They almost did. They
Hey, but
almost
look, I
did.
told you, Trump trying to find some money. I told y'all, he trying to find a way to get some money to help with another tax cut. He going to find a way, and they digging hard.
Yeah, but I think a
Listen,
lot of the
he
stuff is
gotta
the
find a
propaganda
way.
that I was telling you about. I think
Gotta find some money, yo. He has to find, and majorly.
see we were. I remember when I don't know if people was that far deep, but look, I was so far deep into the conspiracy theories. I remember people were saying Barack Obama was the Antichrist. It's Barack Hussein Obama, and they comparing his name and all that stuff to
They were weighing him
Lucifer,
out.
Lucifer that fell
Yeah,
from heaven. They
they
were
were
trying to say
weighing.
he was part of the Taliban or ISIS and all that stuff, and he was a Muslim, and he was going to do all this other stuff. Look, I came up and one of those type of debates and one of those type of elections, and I just remember all the propaganda that was placed on the people, and I think that that's used to create a false sense of security amongst the people. Once people know that dangers on the horizon, people start to act chaotic, which is why I think they didn't want to tell people about um, those drones that was
Trump said
going
he
on.
figured the drones out. He sent a notice out that he figured the drone situation out.
So we have a comment by Danielle Howard.
Said he figured it out.
Danielle Howard said, "Can I ask a question about the topic you were talking about before?" And I was not worried about the child support situation. Sure, you can ask a question about the topic that we said before. First, and
Absolutely.
we appreciate your comment and your viewership as well. The topic that we had before, let us know your question. We're waiting a while,
Ask away.
but ask away. But go ahead, continue on what you were saying.
Um, I actually forgot.
he
I was
said
making a comment.
he said I actually forgot, but that's okay. But as far as it goes, the research, I would say that people need to research the government websites, like if it has .gov or .org and stuff like that. Those are more credible sources to relate to. When you see the sources and they pop up and it's from Hip Hop Daily News or all these other little sketchy websites that you never heard of or never seen, chances are the information is unreliable. And I'm not saying that everything that comes from these government websites is reliable as well too,
But
because we do have challenging statistics and information from those websites. But one thing that we can know and rest assured is that at least the information that we're getting is coming from the government, and this is what the government views this as,
like
and
for
that's important.
example, not to cut you off, for example, it's sad that we have a president, Barack Obama, that was a black president for 2 terms, and he done nothing for blacks. And it's sad. People hate when you say, especially blacks. So when you pull up, what have Barack Obama done for blacks? It is really nothing. So, and some black sources make stuff up because it's so embarrassing that he haven't done nothing. So they make stuff up. So you gotta look at the source. That's like I tell you, you gotta look at the source because you want to figure out what have he done. So when you read it and you read it, it looks so bland, like it don't make sense. And then you look at the source
Right.
because you realize it don't make sense.
Right.
See, you know? So
So
you always got to look at the source on what someone's telling you. You know, not what you want to hear. Remember, you say, we always tell you about that. You don't want to listen to what you want to hear. You really want to hear some truth.
right.
Honestly,
And
you do.
it's called confirmation bias.
There
Please,
we go.
please
Right.
don't, please don't have confirmation bias. And again, for those who don't know, refer back to the episode that we talked about confirmation bias. But long story short, short story even shorter, confirmation bias is when people look and search for information that goes along with the way that they think and their perspective on things, and they disregard. And along with that, they disregard information that's opposed to anything in opposition to what they believe. And that's just paraphrasingly. But you believe
Yeah.
everything that jive along with what your ideas, your thoughts, and your feelings are,
You
and
don't
you
want the
disregard
truth.
those things
You don't want the
that
facts.
don't jive with that. And it's a huge major problem with that. And like we keep saying, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So it's essential to when you come here to really strap your boots up because we're gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be more for real. A lot of this stuff could potentially even get us banned from the internet. But
We
this is why
don't
we
got
need
the
y'all
latest
support.
gossip, the
Right.
bull crap. We got some stuff for your mind, your brain to tell your children, and really the stuff to grow on. So this is stuff for leadership. Stuff you need to know, y'all. Seriously. You
I-
know what? But you know what? Really? Trump 2025 and 2025
mhm.
is really interesting the whole time. The
Oh, he came
DEI
in with a bang.
and the things he doing and the people he laid off coming back for revenge. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and
coming in with a bang.
I think Danielle Howard, by the way, I think she wanted to comment on the transgender because that's what we were talking about before the child support program effects like
Absolutely.
that.
Help us out. Fill us in.
But yeah, the transgender it is a it's a very touchy subject, and we're gonna wait your reply. We can't wait too long, but we know it's a touchy subject. But this is what we want to be. This is what this platform is for us to be more for real. And there we go, right on cue. So Danielle Howard, she says, "How do you feel about them using the transgender for their community when there are people who are actually born transgender? Do you feel that that is disrespectful to those people born transgender?" Again, they say, how do you feel about them using the transgender for their community when there are people who are actually born transgender? Do you feel like that is disrespectful to those people?
And listen, and I've heard about that, but
I think what she's referring about is the hermaphrodite. I'm not
right,
sure.
I've heard.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're
I
referring to
think that's exactly
hermaphrodites,
what
those that are born with
she's
both
doing.
female and male
Yeah.
sex organs.
But you know what? I think we need to learn from them instead of them because I've heard when they were born, and then correct me if I was wrong. I heard when they were born, I heard that the parent had to choose which one they were going to be, and then or which one, and then whatever, and they start making them whoever they want to be. I'm assuming they see it's so crazy because instead of us always making them who they are, they need to just be who they are, and we need to learn from them because it's more to that. It has to be more to that. It's more to it. But doctors are always in more stuff than it is. You see what I mean? So,
Right.
like I said, some stuff that I don't know, I don't know. All I know is we need to learn more from them because it's no way they can be that way because I heard that the doctors correct them at birth.
Right.
So how do they get that way up there? So apparently that doesn't make sense, right?
Right. But as far as those that are born with both of them, I mean that's an interesting question because I mean, what would you identify as if you were born with both female and male sex organs? Could you identify as a male? Could you identify as a female? I think the proper term for it would be androgynous. Androgynous would be mean both male and female. There are actually some animal species that can change their sex. One of them that I learned was giant grouper. Most salmon that you eat are hermaphrodites, but most of them are actually females. But they're hermaphrodites. They have both male and female productive reproductive organs because they're farm raised. So most farm raised salmon are hermaphrodites. But what I will say about the whole situation is that that is not the total population. You're talking about an anomaly. This does not represent the general population. So of course, um, while things are general, they're not 100% accurate. There are anomalies outside the equation, but the anomalies don't make the exception to the rule. For instance, let's just say that 9 times out of 10, everybody that jump out of this fourth story window, they end up unaliving themselves. And I mean, based on those statistics, you would say, well, I got a 10% chance of living, um, jumping out of this four-story window. So while things are possible, um, while some things are possible, um, it, all things are not likely. So, I mean, when we're dealing with things in general, and that's the only problem with speaking with things in general is it doesn't speak to everybody's specific situation. So there's anomalies in that, and so anomalies we're not particularly addressing as far as that. We're just talking about in general. So of course there's going to be some different
Exceptions
situations.
to the rule.
Yeah, of course there's going to be some exceptions to the rule. Yep. For sure. Be more for real. You know it's the real
Oh man,
conversation.
but but if we're talking about the that exception to the rule, I will actually, no offense, not that I'm trying to disrespect anyone by any way, shape, or form. I would love if 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 the individual was born that way, would grow up that way, if the doctors would not have touched them, allowed them to be that way, no hormones or nothing, and we could learn from them,
Right.
we probably could learn a whole lot from them.
Right.
Instead of us trying to make them who we want them to be, and we can learn from them who they are. Do you understand? Because no one person can be two people, or could they?
I mean, they could be.
You understand? We need to learn. We don't need to tell them who they are. They need to tell us who they are.
They absolutely could be. And while we at it, I hope you guys can see this on the screen.
This has been
I
interesting.
hope you guys can see this on the screen. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. We gotta show some love. Hold on. My man Andre Patterson. Let me go ahead and pull this back up. Let's pull this back up.
Oh
My man Andre Patterson. We
yeah!
cannot forget you, my brother. We cannot forget you. So Andre Patterson, man, with his
Look out,
ABE Nation, All Black
y'all!
Everything Nation, Outreach Ministries. They present their first annual Red Carpet Daddy Daughter Dance. I am going to be the DJ of the night, so we're gonna shout out to that one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
We did this, y'all. This is called a daughter daddy dance. Daddy daughter dance, y'all.
Yep.
Daughter daddy dance. Daddy daughter dance. This is really on a special occasion, y'all. Take the time. And you all know the daddies with their daughters, y'all, for real, or the ones that represent the father image.
We are also one of the sponsors of the evening. It is on February the 13th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is only for the fathers and daughters. We already had this. Look, if y'all don't know, go back over to our episode with Andre Patterson. We already explained what this was. This is not for the mothers and sons. This is not for the fathers and sons. This is for the fathers and the daughters. The
Or the
look.
father image,
Yeah,
right?
or the
Along with
father figures,
daughters,
the
or
father
the daughters,
figures,
right? Or
the father figures and the daughter figures. The date is February 13th, from 6 to 12 p.m. The location is at the Manor on 924 North Charles Street, Baltimore, Maryland 21201. It's gonna be food, beverage, music by way of me, of course. Red carpet, roses for the ladies, and more with every ticket. There's also a nice guest speaker that's coming as well. He goes by the name of Girl Dad on TikTok. He has a lot of followers. And things of that nature, man. It's gonna be an awesome, dope event. This is what we're gonna keep on doing. We're gonna keep on doing our outreach to the community. We're gonna keep on
Absolutely, yo.
trying to involve our
Absolutely.
families. We're gonna
And we
keep on
need
working
the
on black
we need that
families.
connected, and we definitely need these black fathers. You know how important it is. We really do know how important it is, yo. We need the fathers involved in the lives. And you know how important it is for the fathers and the daughters' lives. You know how important. We need not say more about it. All right, y'all. We'll see you there. And we got, you know what? We
There, yo,
got a.
Howard. She said, "Thanks for shouting him out. The love of my life." Okay, so we know who you are. We're gonna go ahead and shout you out. Yeah, we appreciate you guys. You already know, man. So be more for real, man. Keep it locked with us. This is the realest conversation on that is rated R for reality. Come get your weekly dose of reality, man. These topics may be hard to handle at sometimes, but these are the topics that we have to address. Remember, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. It is brought to you by way of Real Explosion. I am your co-host, OMG Danny.
I am Uncle
We're gonna catch y'all next
Wayne.
Wednesday.
Be
Oh,
blessed.
next Wednesday. Make sure y'all tune in with us. We got YSL coming in, not Young Thug and Gunna. We mean the young, successful leaders. We mean Mr. Brandon and his team.
Yeah,
Man,
absolutely.
they do an awesome job. You got to see what they do for the children of Baltimore City, County, and the surrounding regions. You just got to see what these brothers have to offer, man.
Absolutely.
Like
Don't
we got
miss
some
it.
special guests with us tomorrow, so keep it locked with us. Y'all know we got you covered. Corey Wiles. Oh, we appreciate you, Corey. He said, love
Nephew
y'all show, man. We love
Corey.
y'all more, man.
Yeah,
We love y'all more,
Corey.
man, for sure.
Be blessed, be blessed, be
For sure.
blessed.
Be more for real, man. Keep it locked with us. Realest
All right.
conversation on the net. Each and every single Wednesday. Rated R for reality. Y'all know what time it is. Be more for real.